Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. Ever feel like you're just dragging yourself through the day, even after you've had what you think is a good night's sleep?
Oh, yeah,
Like you just can't shake that grogginess.
for sure.
Well, we're about to explore this ancient concept that might help unlock, like, a more energized and productive you.
Oh, interesting.
Get ready to dive into the world of Brahma Muhurta.
Okay.
It's this sacred time period just before sunrise, said to be incredibly potent for spiritual practices and like personal growth.
So Brahma Muhurta is fascinating because it's not just like some random time slot, right? It's, uh, you know, deeply rooted in yogic traditions. But we're going to kind of see what modern science has to say about it, too.
Okay.
We're going to be drawing insights from this article, Brahma Muhurta Time, a powerful period for manifesting,
Oh, cool.
from Solancha magazine.
I'm intrigued. Brahma Muhurta, the name itself sounds kind of mystical.
Right.
What does it actually mean?
Yeah, so it's Sanskrit.
Okay.
Brahma refers to knowledge and creation, and Muhurta translates to a specific time period.
Okay.
So you put them together and you get the creator's hour, which is pretty cool.
I like that.
It's this window about an hour and a half before sunrise,
Okay.
specifically a 48-minute period when the world is still quiet and the energy is incredibly receptive.
So it's like the calm before the storm of the day.
Right.
I can see how that might be a good time for like reflection and inner work.
Yeah.
But what makes it so special energetically speaking?
Well, yogic philosophy describes it as a time when we can like more easily connect with a higher consciousness. So think of it like this during Brahma Muhurta. The veil between the physical and spiritual realms is thin, allowing for a deeper connection with your inner self.
Okay, I'm getting a sense of the spiritual significance, but
Yeah.
is there any scientific backing for this idea of like a heightened energetic state?
There is, and this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Studies have shown that melatonin levels, which are associated with sleep and our circadian rhythms,
Right.
peak during this time.
Okay.
And you know what else peaks along with melatonin?
What's that?
The activity of the pineal gland,
Oh, wow.
often referred to as our third eye.
Hold on, the pineal gland, isn't that the tiny gland in our brain that's associated with like intuition and spiritual awareness?
That's the one.
Okay.
It's thought to play a role in regulating our sleep-wake cycles and producing DMT,
Okay.
a naturally occurring psychedelic compound associated with mystical experiences.
Okay, things are starting to click here.
Yeah,
So by waking up during Brahma Muhurta, we're essentially tapping into this heightened state of consciousness amplified by the pineal gland and melatonin.
yeah, you got it. It's like our bodies are primed for spiritual exploration and deep inner work during this time. But it's not just about connecting with like the divine. It's also about optimizing our energy and well-being throughout the day,
Right.
you know?
Now, you've touched upon this idea of energy before, and I know the article mentions something about gunas,
Yeah.
right? Could you break that down for our listeners? Because I have to admit, it's a concept that I'm still wrapping my head around.
Of course, think of the gunas, tamas, rajas, and sattva as three fundamental energies that influence our consciousness and the world around us.
Okay.
They're constantly in flux, affecting our moods, energy levels, and even our decision-making.
Okay, so how do these gunas relate to Brahma Muhurta and our daily energy cycles?
Well, have you ever noticed how waking up late can leave you feeling groggy and unmotivated, even if you've had like enough sleep?
Oh, tell me about it.
That's tamas.
Yeah.
The energy of inertia, darkness, and heaviness lingering from the night. It can take hours to shake it off.
Yeah, some mornings I feel like I'm swimming through mud just to get to the coffee machine.
Exactly. Now contrast that with the feeling of waking up early as the sun rises.
Yeah.
There's a sense of lightness, clarity, and motivation that comes with that, right?
All right.
That's sattva.
Okay.
The energy of harmony, balance, and positivity
Gotcha.
taking over.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection here.
Yeah,
So waking up late keeps us stuck in tamas, while waking up early aligns us with sattva.
exactly.
But where does Brahma Muhurta fit into all this?
Right.
It's even earlier than sunrise, right?
That's the fascinating part. Brahma Muhurta is this unique window where none of the three gunas are dominant. It's a pure balanced state, untouched by the heaviness of tamas or the agitation of rajas.
So it's like a neutral zone, a blank canvas for our consciousness before the day's energies start swirling around.
Precisely, and that's why it's considered so important for spiritual practices and setting intentions.
Yeah.
You're tapping into this pristine energy field, unclouded by the fluctuations of the gunas.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm officially convinced.
good.
But what about the practical side of things? What are some things people actually do during Brahma Muhurta to tap into this incredible energy?
Well, the article outlines 5 practices that you can choose from. It's like a menu
Okay.
for your morning routine.
Ooh, I like that.
And you don't have to do them all. Just choose what resonates with you.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right, so meditation's a classic for a reason. It's all about clearing your mind, inviting inspiration, and connecting with that inner guidance.
So find a quiet corner, dim the lights, and just focus on my breath.
Exactly. Don't worry about being a meditation master. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just find a style that feels right for you.
Simple enough. What else is on the menu?
All right, free writing or journaling.
Okay.
It's a powerful way to process thoughts and emotions, gain clarity, and tap into your creative flow.
So just let my thoughts and feelings flow onto the page. No need to overthink it.
Exactly. You can even experiment with different forms of journaling, gratitude lists, intent setting, stream of consciousness writing,
Uh-huh.
whatever helps you connect with your inner voice.
I like it. What other options are there? I'm getting hungry for more.
Well, if you're more of a bookworm, Brahma Muhurta is also a great time for reading spiritual literature or sacred texts.
Okay, so is there something about this time that makes the words kind of sink in better?
Think of it this way. During this time, your mind is clear and receptive, free from the mental chatter that usually fills our days. It allows for deeper comprehension and reflection on those spiritual principles.
So it's like having a spiritual study session with my brain at its peak performance.
Yes.
I can see how that would be beneficial.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Next up, we have affirmations, which are all about reprogramming your subconscious mind and aligning with desired outcomes.
Okay, so those I am strong, I am capable kind of statements.
Exactly. The article suggests affirmations like, I love and approve of myself, my life is magnificent, and I follow my inner call and fearlessly share my gifts with the world.
Wow.
The key is to repeat these affirmations with conviction, imprinting them on your subconscious.
So it's like planting seeds of positivity in my mind, ready to bloom throughout the day.
Beautiful analogy. And if affirmations aren't your thing, chanting mantras is another powerful option.
Mantras. I'll have to look into that. Anything else on the menu?
Last but not least, we have movement.
Movement. So like hitting the gym at 4 a.m.
Not necessarily, it's more about gentle movement practices, like yoga, walking, meditation, 5 Tibetan rites, or qigong something, to get your energy flowing and harmonize your body and mind.
Ah, okay. So more about waking up the physical body gently while honoring the quietude of Brahma Muhurta.
Precisely. It's a beautiful way to prepare for the day ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got meditation, journaling, reading, affirmations, and movement. That's quite a spread. I'm starting to see why Brahma Muhurta has been revered for centuries. But I have to ask, is there anything we should avoid doing during this sacred time?
Yeah, that's a great question. The article specifically mentions 2 things to avoid: eating and engaging in stressful activities.
Eating, but what if I wake up hungry? I thought breakfast was the most important meal of the day.
Well, according to Ayurvedic principles, which are closely tied to yogic philosophy, eating during this period can disrupt the body's natural cleansing and detoxification processes. The idea is to allow your digestive system to rest and reset, preparing for the day ahead.
So it's more about giving our bodies a chance to fully detoxify before we start fueling up.
Exactly. Think of it as like a mini fast, a way to clear out any stagnation and enhance your digestive fire.
Okay, I can see the logic there. And what about stressful activities? Let's be real, in today's world, it feels like everything is stressful.
You're not wrong, but that's precisely why it's so important to carve out this time for inner peace and stillness. The article suggests that engaging in stressful activities during Brahma Muhurta can actually deplete your vital energy and negatively impact your well-being.
So no checking work emails or scrolling through social media first thing in the morning?
Probably a good idea to resist those temptations. Remember, Brahma Muhurta is about cultivating a sense of calm and clarity, setting a positive tone for the day.
All right, point taken. It sounds like a digital detox is in order during those early hours, but I have another question. Is it safe for everyone to be waking up this early? I mean, what about people who are like night owls or have different sleep patterns?
You bring up a really important point. The article does mention some precautions advising against Brahma Muhurta practices for pregnant women, children, and elderly individuals who aren't accustomed to early rising.
Makes sense. It's always a good idea to listen to our bodies and honor our individual needs.
Absolutely. And it's also worth mentioning that if you have any pre-existing health conditions or are on any medications, it's best to consult with a healthcare professional before making any significant changes to your sleep schedule.
Safety first, always good advice. Now, all of this is incredibly fascinating, but I have to admit, the idea of waking up that early still feels a little daunting. Any tips for integrating Brahma Muhurta into our routines without completely disrupting our lives?
I hear you. It's a big shift for most people. The article emphasizes the importance of gradual implementation. Instead of setting your alarm for 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, start by shifting your wake-up time in small increments, like 15 or 30 minutes earlier each week.
So baby steps are key.
Exactly. This allows your body to adapt naturally and minimizes that dreaded resistance we all feel when our sleep is disrupted. Consistency and gentle persistence are much more effective than sudden, drastic changes.
It's like building any new habit. Slow and steady wins the race.
Precisely. And as you gradually shift your wake-up time, pay attention to how you feel. You might be surprised at how even a small adjustment can make a difference in your energy levels, mental clarity, and overall sense of well-being.
I'm curious, have you personally experienced any of these benefits from waking up during Brahma Muhurta?
You know, I have. I used to be a hardcore night owl, burning the midnight oil and struggling to drag myself out of bed in the mornings. But when I started experimenting with Brahma Muhurta, even just waking up 30 minutes earlier, I noticed a shift. I felt more grounded, more focused, and less reactive throughout the day.
That's amazing. It's inspiring to hear real-life examples like that. What about you? Have you ever tried incorporating Brahma Muhurta into your routine?
To be honest, I'm still working on it. I'm a creature of habit, and changing my sleep patterns has been a challenge, but I'm inspired by what we've been discussing today, and I'm committed to giving it a try.
Well, I'm right there with you. I think we can both agree that the potential benefits are well worth the effort. It's like we're uncovering a hidden superpower, a way to tap into a deeper level of energy, creativity, and us being.
I love that, a hidden superpower, and it's available to all of us no matter our background or beliefs. It's simply about aligning ourselves with the natural rhythms of the universe and harnessing the power of this sacred time.
Speaking of aligning with natural rhythms, this whole concept makes me think of like the flow state that athletes and artists often talk about. It's like they're tapping into a similar energy, a state of heightened awareness and effortless action.
That's a brilliant connection. I think you're onto something. There's definitely a parallel between the focused, energized state experienced during Brahma Muhurta and the flow state that allows for peak performance in various fields.
It makes me wonder if there are any historical figures or spiritual masters who attributed their success or insights to like practicing Brahma Muhurta.
You know, that's a great question. While the article doesn't specifically mention any historical figures, I wouldn't be surprised if many great thinkers and leaders throughout history have intuitively tapped into the power of this time, whether they were consciously aware of the concept of Brahma Muhurta or not.
It makes sense. I mean, if we look back at ancient civilizations, many cultures revered the early morning hours as a time for prayer, meditation, and connecting with the divine.
Absolutely. It's a universal impulse, this desire to align ourselves with the rhythms of nature and tap into a higher source of wisdom and inspiration.
It's like Brahma Muhurta is a thread that connects us to the wisdom traditions of the past and empowers us to create a more fulfilling and meaningful present.
Beautifully said. And who knows, maybe by embracing this ancient practice, we can unlock a collective shift in consciousness, a movement towards a more awakened and harmonious world.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into Brahma Muhurta.
Before we do, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought to ponder.
Oh, yes, please give us something to chew on as we head back into our busy lives.
Okay, so we've talked about the various practices you can engage in during Brahma Muhurta, from meditation to journaling to movement. But ultimately, the most important thing is to find what resonates with you. So I encourage you to ask yourself what practice, what ritual, what act of self-care would make those 48 minutes truly sacred and transformative for you.
Yeah, it really is a gift and one that I think we all kind of take for granted. I know I'm definitely guilty of hitting that snooze button and sacrificing those precious morning moments for a few extra minutes of sleep.
Oh, it's a common struggle, especially in our fast-paced world, you know?
Right.
But think about it this way. Those 48 minutes of Brahma Muhurta are like prime real estate for our consciousness.
Hmm.
It's a time when we can plant the seeds for a more intentional and fulfilling day.
And, something you said earlier really resonated with me, this idea that even a small shift in our wake-up time can make a significant difference.
Right.
It's encouraging to know we don't have to become extreme morning people overnight to experience the benefits.
Exactly. It's all about finding the sustainable rhythm that works for you.
Right.
Maybe you start by waking up just 15 minutes earlier
Yeah.
and using that time for a quick meditation or some mindful journaling. The key is to be consistent and observe how even those small changes impact your energy and focus throughout the day.
I love that approach. It feels very approachable and empowering instead of feeling overwhelmed by the idea of a complete lifestyle overhaul. We can start with small, manageable steps
Right.
and gradually build from there.
Precisely. It's a journey, not a destination. And as you continue to explore Brahma Muhurta, you might find yourself naturally gravitating toward certain practices that resonate with you more deeply.
Yeah.
Maybe you discover a love for chanting mantras or find that a gentle yoga flow sets the perfect tone for your day. The beauty of this practice is that it's customizable to your unique needs and preferences.
It's like we're creating our own personal rituals,
Ye-
our own sacred space within the quietude of the early morning.
I love that imagery. And, one thing I find particularly fascinating about Brahma Muhurta is that it transcends cultural and religious boundaries.
Hmm.
Whether you approach it from a yogic perspective, a spiritual lens, or simply as a way to optimize your well-being, the underlying principle remains the same.
Right.
To align ourselves with the natural rhythms of the universe and tap into the potential of this sacred time.
It's like a universal language, a shared human impulse to connect with something greater than ourselves and cultivate a sense of inner peace and purpose.
Beautifully said, and perhaps by embracing this ancient practice, we can not only transform our own lives, but also contribute to a collective shift towards a more conscious and compassionate world.
What a powerful thought. It's like we're all part of a ripple effect. And by choosing to wake up to our own potential during Brahma Muhurta, we're sending out waves of positive energy that can impact the world around us.
I couldn't agree more. It's a reminder that even seemingly small actions, like shifting our wake-up time and dedicating a few moments to inner work, can have a profound impact on our lives and the world around us.
Well said. I think that's a beautiful note to end on. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and wisdom with us today. I know I'm feeling inspired to make Brahma Muhurta part of my daily routine, and I hope our listeners are too.
It's been a pleasure diving deep into this topic with you. May your mornings be filled with peace, clarity, and the boundless energy of Brahma Muhurta.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We'll be back next time with another thought-provoking exploration. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.